Welcome to our backyard garden.
Yes, hi. Yeah, today is Sunday, July 28, 2013. Well, what you see here is one of my bitter melon plant. I want to give you a very quick update. Um, Now today I'm going to talk about two things, the revival of the plant and also the trellis. And I think I make some observations regarding the second point, the trellis. But at any rate, this plant here, if you recall, this is the one that I planted during spring. And as we recall, the last number I gave you guys in terms of fruit is about 25 to 30. And after that, the plant kind of halted and stopped producing. And that's how bitter melon generally produce fruit. It will give out a burst of fruit, a lot of fruit at one time, and then it will stop. And if the season continues to progress, then maybe they will produce again. And that's evident here because I see some small little fruit. But before you can do that, you have to really treat the soil. You have to renew some of the nutrients in the soil by adding a lot of compost, organic compost, worm casting, and so on and so on. Okay, so here's some of the new growth I see on the plant, and you see a lot of yellow leaves, drying out branches, and that's pretty normal because this is the late end of the season for this plant. Even though we have 1.5 months to go, the plant has been already putting out so much fruit that it's pretty much exhausted. But I do see some signs of new growth here, as you can see here. So there's new melon here coming up. Also here. Okay, hope you can see that. And then on this side here, I already picked one of them, a bigger one. And here's another one. Here's another one. All these are the new fruits. I find about maybe 5 to 6 fruit on here, and that's a very encouraging sign. But also the second point is the trellis. Now, initially when I plant this, I predict that the plant will climb up to this trellis. This trellis here is about 2.5 feet, 2 feet by 6 feet. As it comes up here, that's about over 6 feet. And then it will move across this. That's about 8 feet. And also here. Well, the plant did okay in terms of spreading out. But as you can see here, some of the leaves here, some of the vine here are very thin. So that's a sign of kind of weak. That's a sign of the plant is really overproducing and pretty much stretching himself out. And the leaves is really small, as you can see here. And the trellis, one thing about the trellis is that this is not the best kind of fence trellis for bitter melon. And for the reason because of the tendril here, very curly. It likes to grab onto something smaller, like a fence. Normally the fence, wire fence that you see along, most construction. Those are the good type of trellis. But anyway, I want to show you guys the preferred trellis that I think will be the best for our bitter melon. So let's move on to the other side of the garden. So let's take a walk. Okay, so here. Now I've been experimenting with a lot of different kind of trellis, and I think this one here, it's probably the best type. So probably a month ago, I transplanted 2 of them here from the other part of the section. And here's this trellis here. Let me go back, give you a wider scope perspective here. This entire thing from this end here, that pole right there, to all the way this pole here, it's about maybe exactly 14 feet. And on top of that, that's almost 8 feet or 7.5 feet. And the reason why I think that bitter melon prefer this kind of trellis, if you can see here, my son is showing you guys nice fruit here, right? Beautiful fruit. This is the concrete reinforcement, concrete mesh, I think. I don't know what you call it, but anyway, the square here, it's 6 inches apart, but the wire, look at the wire. It's wonderful, the wire is just small enough for the tendril. Look at every tendril, look at that. They bitter melon grab onto it very easily. Look at that. On the other trellis, I have to kind of like coax it a little bit, bend it a little bit, and twist and turn. But on this one, you don't have to do absolutely nothing at all. And look at everywhere you see, it can grab onto it very easily.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's, I think, and I think that's a prefer. I think this is a better trellis, I think. And like I say, bearded melon doesn't require heavy-duty trellis. As long as you have a lot of room for them to climb, to spread out, they'll do just fine. And this two plant here, I have more than two actually. There are probably 6 here, but 2 of them so far has been prolific in terms of, look at this vine. Look at, let's go back a little further. You stay there. Look at this. Wow, beautiful. And this is quite wonderful, the way the plants spread out. And here's the fruit. Look at how big the fruit is. I already harvested several. This is one of the most, look at, put your hand here, son. This one's about 7 to 8 inches long. It's very straight, 2 inches in diameter. This is a perfect
one.
yeah, this is the perfect fruit here, I would call it. Okay. Now in the store, when you buy them, they probably come in even bigger and longer, but those are commercially grown, and I don't like them. But this is what I would call the perfect melon right here. About 8 inches long, 2 inches across. And I think this one's about ready to be picked, because you can tell the wrinkly stuff, it's close to smoothing out, and the bottom is slightly showing signs of little kind of coloration changes, and it's very glossy look. So that's ready to harvest. And this plant is putting out tons of fruit now. So like I said, we're in the middle of summer. We still have plenty of time to go. So it was good for me that I transplant them from the other section, because I do admit it, I make a mistake by planting too many of them in one section, in one little area. So now they have a lot of more room to grow, a lot more room to spread out. And I will be harvesting bitter melon the entire summer. And look at this fruit here. So there's a lot of fruit on here. There's over probably, how many fruit do you think? Can you count them? You think you can count them for Daddy? Maybe about 10 of them I can see, maybe more, right?
Maybe 11.
Maybe a lot more than that. So here's another big one.
4,
Look at up here is over 6 feet. So
6,
my top trellis here is about maybe 8 feet. And look at that.
7, or 7.
Yes. And the vine is doing quite well, very green. The leaves is excellent in shape, in terms of shapes and colorations. Look at all these flowers.
Oh, my hair's hit.
And look at this baby fruit here. Okay, so that's our latest update, and also my observations. I think I've been growing this for so long, and I still have a lot to learn about this plant. And next season we're gonna plant a lot more. And by the way, I tried to save the seed, but sometimes my family cut them up and eat them without saving the seed for me, and sometimes they forget. But that's okay. All right. Well, thank you for watching, and please subscribe to our video. All right, son, stand up and say goodbye.